Hey everybody, so I'm going to show you something really cool today. So what I'm doing with this Excel spreadsheet is I'm essentially accumulating a bunch of dividend tickers, and then I'm trying to track the dividend yield of these stocks real time. So to do this, you're going to need Excel and you're going to need Thinkorswim. So this right here is the final product, and I'm going to show you how I go ahead and build this with an empty sheet. So right here, I already labeled out my cells. And right here, I have the formula that we're using as well as the individual functions that we are going to input into the formula. So right here for ticker, let's go ahead and let's put an example. Let's put ExxonMobil. So that's XOM. Now I'm going to tab over. I want to figure out what the stock price is. So this is where Thinkorswim comes in. Now I want to have Thinkorswim open when I do this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do equal sign RTD, which stands for real-time data. And then we're going to do a parentheses, TOS, Thinkorswim. But we want to do a quotation first. So quotation TOS dot RTD. So this is basically telling Excel, hey, I want to pull out this information from Thinkorswim and I want to get real-time data. Now we need to feed it a function. So what do we want Thinkorswim to do, or what do we want Excel to do with this Thinkorswim data? So we want it to basically grab the last stock price. So right here, we're going to put in quotations, we're going to put last. So anytime you're using words in Excel within a parenthesis like this, you usually want to put quotations. And then now we want to put in the ticker symbol. So if we're going to put in a word, and we could do it two ways. So I could do quotations Exxon, and then it'll grab it. But I'll show you something easier. Instead of doing that, we could just reference the cell because I already have it written down one time. So you see, I already have it written down right there. So I could just do that and then click enter. So there we go. We got the actual real-time data. So it's $116.13. Now, if the stock market was open right now, this would actually change real time. So now we want to figure out what the dividend is. So if we want to figure out what the dividend is, we could just go ahead and pretty much just copy this formula throughout this section right here. And then what we can do is we could just change this up a little bit. So now, I want to go ahead and pick Exxon, but instead of last, I want to do div. So div stands for dividend. So if I do that, then it's going to show, okay, it's 93 cents. But how often is this paid? So this is where we want to figure out what the dividend frequency is. So, right here, I'm going to go right back to Exxon. And then instead of last, I'm going to type in div underscore freq. So FREQ. So pretty much any time that you're putting two words in Excel in a function together like this, you always need to put an underscore to basically bridge that space right there. So right here, this is going to tell us the dividend frequency. So now you can see that there is a Q right there, Q for quarterly. So now what is the full year dividend? So we want to figure out, okay, well, what is this annualized? So if I want to do that, I could do equals pretty much this times 4. But we're going to run into problems because sometimes, you might get a ticker symbol that is actually paying you dividends on a monthly basis. So here's what you want to do. You want to make an if statement. You want to do if, so, what is the logical test that we're doing? So we're going to do if this number is equal to, so if this cell right here is equal to Q, then essentially what we're going to do here is then what are we going to do? We're going to do dividend times 4. And then if it's not, it's going to be paid out monthly. Then what we're going to do is dividend times 12. So here in this situation, it's Q, so it's going to multiply it by 4. So as you guys can see, annualized, this 91 cents per quarter is $3.64. Now, what is the dividend yield? So the dividend yield is going to be the full year dividend divided by the stock price. And then now here we just want to touch everything up a little bit. So now, I'm going to go over to my home page. I'm going to do dollar. And then right here, I'm also going to do dollar. And then right here and right here, we're going to do dollar as well. And then let's just go ahead, since I'm a little bit nitpicky about this, let's go ahead and center that too. All right, so now we got one row done. Now let's just say that we have like a million other stocks. So now I'm just going to go ahead and do Control-Shift-N. I'm going to go ahead and copy all of this. And I'm going to move it over here. So now we have a crap ton of ticker symbols. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go over to this bottom right corner. Now you can see that I have this cross sign that shows up. I'm just going to double click that. So that's essentially just copying this entire formula down. So we're going to copy that entire formula down. Copy that entire formula down. So now you guys see there's an M. So this ticker symbol O, Realty Income, this is a monthly dividend. So it pays you monthly. That is why we want to use this function right here with the if. Because if it's not Q, then it's M. And if it's M, then we're going to multiply it by 12. So now we're going to go ahead and do the same thing. And we're going to go ahead and do the same thing. So now we always want to check if we put our formula in correctly. So, okay, well, right here, Realty Income is a monthly dividend. It pays 26 cents. What is that annualized? Okay, well, that's going to be 26 cents times 12. Okay, that looks like it checks out right there. So, yeah, I mean, this function definitely worked. Now, dividend yield, I accidentally made a mistake there. I don't really want that in dollars. I want that in percentage. So I'm just going to go ahead, select that entire cell. I'm going to go home. I'm going to do percent, and then I'm going to carry it over 2 decimal places. So there we go. We pretty much have everything nicely created. But now here comes the format part, the visualization part. So now, we're going to do some formatting here. So I want to do conditional formatting, and I want to essentially do it for this entire cell, or that entire column, I mean. So now I'm going to go over here. I'm going to do highlight cell rules. And I'm going to do a greater than and a less than. So if it's less than, let's say if it's less than 1%. If it's less than, no, let's say 2%. If it's less than 2%, I want it to be red, okay? So I want it to be light red with dark red text. All right, so now we're going to do this again. Conditional formatting, highlight cell rules, greater than. If it's greater than 4%, then I want it to be a green fill with dark green text. Okay, what about everything in between? All right, so let's see. If it is between, let's say 2.01 and 3.99%, I want that to be yellow. All right, so there we go. Now we literally have everything nicely color-coded. So now we could go ahead, we could apply a filter here. We could go over to data, and then we could go ahead and throw in a filter. So now, we could do some interesting stuff here. Now I could go ahead and say, all right, well, now I want to sort by color. And, now I just want to see what is green. So I want to see everything that's green. Okay, so now I have the green showing up in the front. And then now let's go ahead and let's sort this out again. So now let's say I want to do yellow. Okay, so now I have my yellows up front. All right, let's say I want to do red. So, in most cases, you're probably going to look at green because you want to see, okay, well, what's yielding over 4%? So here I have Realty Income is yielding over 4%. I have HDV is yielding over 4%. I have LEG yielding over 5%. But then wait, what are these individual tickers? I have no idea what these are. So now right here I could put in a description field. And I could build that out a little bit. Now let's go ahead and let's just copy this function right here. And I'm going to paste it right in there. Now, instead of dividend frequency, I'm going to put description. All right, so now we know that ticker symbol O is realty income. So now let's go ahead, drag that down, and boom, bunch of data right there. Okay, so HDV is iShares Trust High Dividend ETF. So okay, it lives up to its name because it's 4%. And this is why I have it over 4%, because to me, if treasuries are yielding like 4 to 5%, I don't want no measly like 2% dividend yield. I want like something with substance. I want this 4%, at least 4%. So that is why I have these highlighted like that. Now, are these good stocks to invest in or good ETFs to invest in? I have no idea. This is like your own research to do. I literally just went on a website. I looked up Dividend Aristocrat like stocks or whatever, and then it spat me out a big list, and then I went ahead and input that list into this column right here. So that is essentially what I did. So this is not saying, hey, these are good dividend stocks. This is just telling you this is the yield at this point in time. Now, if you like the yield, that is when you go and you do your research. You go ahead and you look at realty income. You say, okay, it's a monthly paying dividend, so therefore I'm going to get my dividends every single month. So therefore, I can compound my money faster. Okay, well, that's a benefit. But why is the yield 4.87%? Okay, well, maybe we're in a housing crisis, and this is a real estate related income. It is a REIT. It is a real estate income trust. So, then you start thinking, oh, okay, well, there's a little bit of risk here. But then, if you did your research, you'll say, oh, okay, well, this company has been paying their dividends for so-and-so amount of years. They have solid cash flow, something, this and that. I'm not saying that this company does, but I'm saying that's the type of stuff that you would want to look at when you're looking at a dividend stock. You would want to know that their cash flows are sufficient enough that you can actually get that dividend, and that they are not straining themselves to give you that dividend. They are not cannibalizing their own business to pay out this dividend to their shareholders. So that is the important thing that you need to know. So essentially, this entire video is literally just showing you how you can track this data real time. This has nothing to do with whether these companies are good companies or not. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and have a good one.